What's up, everybody? It is the Raziel Daziel on YouTube. So, we're doing 7 days of Christmas with Raz, and he's coming out with content every single day. But technically, I'm actually making all these videos in the same night and just basically scheduling them to come out on certain day on each day, because I really don't feel like making videos every day and editing every day. So this is the second video that I am going to do covering the warfare officers. So let's see, who do I want to cover next? You know what, I will actually cover Alexandria. So what is she? Who is she? What does she do? How does she? How can she benefit your castle? Where does her stat sheet, and how can she basically improve your overall kills and and things like that? Well, before we dive into it, and before we start discussing what the benefits of her is and how can she assist you, I want you guys to subscribe to my channel. Do the original YouTube stuff. You know what it is, baby. You already know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have to subscribe to my stuff, because I'm the Messiah of this game, and nobody knows this game better than me. So when it comes to this builds and stuff like that, I am that number one under the sun when it comes to this, and I am a person that you definitely want to get to know, because I will make sure that you too will save thousands and tens of thousands of dollars playing this game, so that you do not make the same mistakes that I did. And if you want to donate to this channel, you sure can. This is my commander ID. You can go ahead and go to the AOZ Blue Coin website. Type in that user ID, which is 3770928, and you can type that in there, and then go ahead and donate whatever you feel that my time was worth to you. So with that being said, make sure you share this to basically help people out. Like my stuff, comment, and certainly if you have any questions, definitely ask it in the comment sections below. Now let's go ahead and dive in. Now, Alexandria is probably I would consider her like a rare officer, because her fragments do not drop in the diligence shop. You do occasionally get her in in the officer skill boxes, like they look like this. Let me show you where is it. You'll occasionally get her through officer fragment chests and elite recruitment. Her and her counterpart Zeus are very they're basically opposite of each other, but they complement each other in every way. So going back to her, okay, so this game's all about damage. It's all about, health, damage, defense, formations, reductions, increased damage too, debuffs, and all that good stuff. Alexandra's a debuff type officer. Basically, when you start starring her up, you get something called defense weakness, which is damage taken from all troops is negative 25.5%. That means that any damage that your troops intake from a battle, it is reduced by 25.5%. It is a direct skill and stat that is basically reflected on your stat sheet. Where's it at, Raz? It is, if you look in your stat sheet, and you go right there to the bottom where it says reduced damage. It's a few of them, so it's 3 of them, right? So you have the reduced damage taken from mid-range troops, reduced damage taken from long-range troops, and reduced damage taken from elite troops. She basically affects all that. But I'll show you a little bit more on how it affects you guys a little further. Now, going back to her. So what does she do, and why is she so important? As you know, whenever you're in a battle and you intake damage, the idea is to survive longer than the other person. Every time you enter a battle, the reductions and increased damages too become a very large part of the battle, and it determines exactly who's gonna be the primary victor of the actual battle. When you're playing with her, in general, you'll notice that there you could also get reduced damage taken from other places. Like for example, the equipment. This equipment right here, which is ultra reinforcement extensions, reduced damage taken from long range troops 10%, reduced damage taken from mid range troops 10%, and reduced damage taken from elite troops is 10%. This is the same thing that basically Alexandria focuses on. So she's very this is the same thing, except it's an equipment. It's in the equipment side. So I believe there's another one in here that does the same thing, but you get the idea. Now, as you start her up, just like I explained to you in my Stormbow video, if you need a guide on Stormbow, it's another guide right there. But as I said before, this is 7 days of Christmas with Raz, so I'm going to literally come out with a new video every single day so you can hear how sexy my voice sounds and how awesome I am explaining these videos to you. Because guess what? I guess I feel motivated to do this now, and I'm actually glad that I am, because this is going to help out new players and older players as well. So when you decide you want to build your officers, obviously you get your skill lines right here, which is your skill slots. In your skill slots, you can, if you want to be a melee junkie, a mid-range player, or a long-range player, you put your skills right there. As you level your officers and you start your officers up, to increase the effects of their special and the skills in the slots, all get magnified and amplified. Okay. So once you get to the 5th star, like I said in my previous video, once you get to 5th star, you can decide if you want to go with a skill called Rescue, or you can go to her 6th star. We're gonna cover, and I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you right now what Rescue does. So Rescue is a skill that you can use. It's right here at the bottom once you unlock it. It says for 1 hour, after using the skill, 36% of the troops killed while attacking will be converted to wounded until your hospital is full. So for 1 hour, this skill is going to be active. So let's go ahead and use it. Once you use it, obviously it shows it's active right there. And then eventually it's a cooldown time, I believe, of a few days. But whenever you attack a castle, there's always loss. There's always loss in different castles. But it actually helps whenever you hit anybody. The troops are then converted into wounded. And it goes into this hospital right here. Once this hospital overfills, then it starts sending some of the hurt troops from the hospital also into the biochemical hospital until that fills. It is very similar to the first aid that's on the strategy officers, which is killed troops converted into wounded ratio. Same thing and same thing. Same thing. So that's based. You can stack all that as well. So when you do this, that, and that, you can stack it. So what is stacking, Raz? Well, I'll show you. So in Alliance, under Alliance Institute, when you go to Alliance Skills, you'll see something called an emergency room. Can rescue 30% of troop losses. When you stack that, plus you stack this, it all goes on top of like each other, and it reduces the loss even further, because as you know, when you're losing troops, you lose BP, and troops is time. Time is an irreplaceable resource that we can never get back, right? So you want to protect your troops and reduce the damage, the loss as much as possible. My only complaint about that skill is basically that once that hour is done, the cooldown time, I think, is between 3 to 4 days, I believe. It's very similar. I think it is 4 to 5 days, I believe, just like Stormbow's Rampant Rock Smasher. So which way should I go, Raz? Should I get the rescue, or should I go straight to the 6th star? Well, let's talk about it, okay? I would say this is also an officer where I would go for the 6th star, because that skill isn't as passive like the Tifa bombs or the Zeus rockets and things like that. So, on Zeus, this is a rocket. This is a passive skill. With this one, this is not. This is actually a one-time use. You can use it one time in Void, and then after that, you don't have access to it for the next few days. But it is a very, very potent skill, because Again, it reduces the loss you take for 1 hour only. I wish they would just like buff that up a little bit, but or at least reduce the cooldown time, because the cooldown times are just so terrible on it. So now that we've covered that, and I've covered where the reductions go to and where it's at and how it affects you on your stat sheet, let's dig into the 6-star. Now the 6-star on her, not every officer has the same exact skills in the 6-stars. Some of them carry more long-range attack skills. Others carry siege. Others carry more health. Others carry different type of reduction. If you notice, you'll see that there's a melee defense, melee HP skills right there that are in S's. But if you look down, you'll have them in purple. You'll have them in blue. And you'll have them in green. Blase, right? So we're going to go and base this off of the idea that you actually had an S. Like I said before in my previous videos, if you want an explanation on single S, double S, and triple S, I do have a video separated from that. Cross nations skills that you have on it are not effective in nation. So whatever it reads in cross nation does not affect in nation, okay? Now that we've covered that, let's dig a little deeper now into the unworldly skills, okay? So, increased defense of melee troops. This is if you want to focus on your melee. Increased attack of mid range. If you're a mid ranger, this is something you need to get to increase the attack of your mid rangers, of your attack power for mid rangers. She does have an increased attack of long range troops as well, which is right. Let's see, where is it at? Well, yeah, I already got it in this one, so you can see it. It's right there. It just doesn't list it after that. So digging a little deeper. So she has, health, defense, and attack, long range defense on her. So if you want to increase the defense of your long range troops, you can also increase your long range health as well in nation. Now these are in nation stats. Now, this skill is extremely important, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably hands down the #1 skill in all of the war officers per capita because of the amount of long-range players there are in the world. You see in really small letters it says reduce damage taken from long-range troops. That skill is extremely important because it directly affects your the damage that you take in from long range. It is very similar to Stormbow's mid-range reductions. So when you do that, it's in nation and in cross nation. It's basically the same thing as what she's doing currently, which is her passive skill, which is basically defense weakness. This is the same thing, except you're stacking it on top of long range now. So you're raising that up. Now, where does that skill? Where is that skill in your stat sheet? Where's that stat in your stat sheet, Raz? I'll show you. It's exactly where you see it right there, where it says reduce damage taken from long range troops. It says 62% right there. When you bump that up, the max is 85.5. Okay, that is one of the most, I would say, that's like S tier. That having that skill is S tier class. It is one of the most important skills in the war officer lineup. So let's go ahead and continue and see what else she has to offer. Obviously, she has her zombie attacks, zombie defense, zombie health. Now, increase attack of city troops, increase defense of city troops, and increase health of city troops. What this is basically if somebody attacks your city, these particular stats activate. This is probably one of the least amount of used skills on an attacking castle, because this is only if somebody hits your city. It does not turn on if you're attacking somebody. It does not turn on if you're attacking somebody in the uranium mine as well. If somebody attacks you at Void, Frenzy, or Global Conquest, and they attack your castle, or even in Nation, these skills will activate. I don't really recommend having these skills because the idea of the game is not to get hit, right? So you go down and then you start seeing that there's an increase, increase the attack of melee troops, increase defense of melee troops, mid-range troops, blase. These are all cross-nation, which is an amplified version of the same type of skill that you have in nation. So when you have it in nation, it's just more amplified for cross-nation because they're banking on you to use these skills during events. Then when you go all the way to the bottom, you start seeing something called increase the skill damage of all defense towers. Now, what is, this is very similar to storm bows, but defense towers are this. If you, it's right there on your city wall. When you click your city wall and you see all the way to the right, it says defense tower right there. This increases all of this, the stats of all this. So if somebody hits your city, these turrets are going to activate and they're going to start killing the people, the troops of the people that are hit. Now, is it really effective? Not really, but it's something, I guess, for defense. I wouldn't recommend it in an attack castle at all because it wouldn't make any kind of sense. So what's the verdict? Well, when you're basically starring her up, I would recommend going for her 6-star because once you get to the 6-star, it stacks up. I mean, this is more of passive skills that you get. They're permanent. You don't have to wait for a cooldown. I would probably definitely open up her entire 5-star and then just build accordingly to whatever type of player you are, whether you're a melee junkie, a mid-range player, or a long-range player. That's all going to determine on how you want to build your castle. Obviously I'll have a separate guide down the line where it talks about different builds and stuff like that, but it's just all about knowledge and things like that. And if you needed any help, you could always ask me in the comment sections below. But yeah, I believe that she's a very good officer. I would definitely have her in my lineup for sure. And totally always level her up and start her up because she's just that damage. Those damage reductions are so significant, and I believe that it's very important as well as increased damage too, and things like that, like health, attack, and stuff like that. But whenever you have that reduction and the other player doesn't, it's a very big advantage of you. But those damage reductions, you could definitely find them in other places too. You could definitely find them like again in your equipment. It's a very big thing in your equipment. Let me see. There it is right there. Like ultra reinforcements extension, reduced damage taken from long range troops. Same thing, That's the same exact thing. So you see where it says reduced damage taken from long range troops, minus 10%? That is the exact same thing as when you see the reduced damage taken from long range troops right there too. So it's like 6.5, So yeah, once you get it on her, she has it, and so does Aeon. Aeon has it, but I'll cover Aeon in a separate video because she actually has an officer skin, but we're not going to go into that too much because, that one's going to be a lot longer of a video because obviously Camel's always updating this game. I'm pretty damn sure that Alexandria is going to get her own skin, her own different skin down the line. But whatever, man, it is what it is. I like her a lot. I think she's pretty cool. I just don't like that the rescue is freaking like, basically almost has a crazy cooldown time and it's only good for 1 hour. I definitely think that they should buff that a bit. But then again, it's up to Camel to do whatever Camel does. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me in the comment sections below. But definitely like my stuff, subscribe, enjoy the 7 days of Christmas that I'm having because I'm going to be going over just the war officers and maybe one strategy officer. Who knows? It just depends on how I'm feeling. I hope this guide helps you guys out. Yep. And again, if you want to support my channel, you already know what it is. You just go ahead and support it through AOZ Coin or through your donations if you want to make sure I keep coming out with stuff. So again, have a great day, guys, and thank you for watching. Peace.